Hello and welcome to a tutorial on how to use sort of a budget template. And so hopefully you're in your Google Drive right now, and the first thing I want you to do is click New, and I want you to go to Sheets, but I don't want you to start blank this time. I want you to go from a template, and I want to introduce you to a template which is very helpful for creating a budget. Mine is right here. It's a monthly budget. Yours, you're going to have to dig for it. It's going to be down here. Notice you have a budget for a timesheet too, which was one of our assignments, but I do not want you to use that. I will give you a 0 if you use it, because I want you to learn how to create those from scratch, because you learn a bunch of other cool stuff along the way. But somewhere in here, you should have a budget. So yeah, personal monthly budget. Mine's right there and there. So click on that. And while it's loading, let me tell you a little bit about budgets. A budget is a plan. A budget is your plan for how you're going to spend your money. You know, the old saying is true that if you have a plan, if you fail to plan, you will plan to fail. And so this helps you plan out how much money you're going to spend each month. So if you're in a business and you know we're going to have about this much money, then it's a good idea to sit down and say, this is how we're going to use this money to further the purpose of our business. This is why this is your group project for the year, and why I want you working in your groups, because you're working on your business. So a budget is not something that you necessarily publish to anybody or give to anybody, but it's just for you to know that this is sort of how much money we intend to take in. And then this is the areas we want to spend our money on to further our family, to feed our family, or if you're a business person, to further our business, to invest in our business, to make our business successful. And so this template's awesome, guys, because it also comes with another tab down here, right here, if you look at the mouse, called the Transactions tab. And so this isn't just a budget, this is also a helpful tool for planning if you're staying on your budget, but we'll get to that. So the first thing you need to know about spreadsheet templates, though, is this right here. Only edit the cells that are this color. So many students have gotten so far off track because they edit cells that aren't this color. See how this cell is not that color? Don't edit it. See how this cell is that color? Edit that one. See how this one's not that color? Don't edit that one. See how this one's not that color? Don't edit that one. See how these ones down here are not highlighted? I'm going to let you say it. Yeah. Don't edit that one. Don't edit these ones. So every student I say this over and over again, and they go around playing with all of these. Notice that even though this says $1,500, notice there's formulas up here. Notice you probably already watched my video on functions. These are pretty complicated functions. And right now, this function is called the if function. It's a very basic function in computer programming. And it said if cell H29 is blank, then this is saying put nothing there. And the sum if transactions J to J, the column J and H29, and transactions, that's if it's not blank, then add all this stuff together. You guys don't need to know that, but you just need to know to leave that cell blank. Don't overwrite that cell at all. Just leave it blank. But this is what you want to focus on. And so what I want you to do for your group projects, remember this is your group project, you can put starting balance wherever you want it to up here, by the way. That's just how much money you're coming into the month with. This is how much money you have before the month even begins. So let's say I have $20 before the month begins, right? Ignore all this. Don't edit any of this. We're going to talk about charts and graphs next week. And so right here, this you can all delete, right? It bugs me. It deleted the color. We don't want to delete the colors, so we have to delete them one by one. That's weird. So anyway, so it will mark it after you've edited it. So anyway, I want you to think with your business through through what you want to spend money on and how much money you plan monthly to spend on that item. So if I'm in a shoe company, then obviously one of my expenses is going to be my website, right? And I'm going to know, because you guys researched this a few assignments ago, that I'm going to pay about $12 a month for the website. So that's a fixed expense. If you have a website, unless it's like a really big, crazy website, you're going to pay about 10 to 20 bucks for it per month. That's a fixed expense. I'm going to buy shoes every month, hoping to sell them. And so you have to decide how much shoes you're going to buy every month. Are you going to buy $300? Are you going to buy $450 worth of shoes? You're going to start small and buy just 55 pairs of shoes for $50 and hope to sell them for 60. I don't know. But I'm going to say I'm going to buy $600 worth of inventory every month. You're going to have a utility price, which is your power, your water, whatever you're using, wherever you're working. So utilities, that could be anywhere around $200 a month. I'm going to have to pay for my Wi-Fi or my internet access. So that's around $35 a month, depending on what internet you use. You could get it a little bit cheaper than that, but it's mostly around that. And then whatever else you're going to put here, transportation, personal expenses. Maybe if you have a office, maybe you're like, I'm going to spend $30 on my office expenses. And then the rest of it we can delete because you're not going to use them. Thing in the assignment, I wanted sort of expenses. I want somewhere between 5 and 10 of them. Income, I think I only wanted 3. So where's your money going to come from? So maybe you have an investor, someone who's cutting you a check every month because they believe in your mission and they want it to go forward. And so maybe you have an investor like your grandma that says, I'll give you $150 a month, which will pay for some of your utilities, or maybe it'll pay for your Wi-Fi website. So your investor, so then you have sales. That's probably going to be your biggest source of income. If I'm buying 600 pairs of shoes, hopefully I'm selling $600 worth of shoes for a little bit of profit. So maybe 700. Maybe I'm planning on selling, if I'm buying $600 worth of shoes, hopefully I'm planning on selling $600 worth of shoes. Maybe I'm going to run ads on my website. In fact, and other people can advertise on my website to bring in a little bit of money. Maybe I'm getting $30 a month. That'd actually be a ton of traffic to your website. But if you're selling $700 worth of shoes, you're probably going to get about $30 worth of ads from that. And those are really going to be your only categories. So over here, I made a mistake. Oh no. So anyway, I was going to add another expense over here because also you're probably going to be advertising too, but I goofed up. So there's that. So advertising might be expense over there. So now I have my budget set up. I plan to make, and it tells you, it adds it up. Notice this is the sum of these cells right here. I'm planning on only bringing in $880 a month. And I'm planning on spending 877 of it right now. That's a good budget. Budget should be balanced. Balanced means you should be taking in as much as you are taking out. So right now, we're only like $3. We're only planning to be $3 in the black. We're only planning on having $3 extra to spend every month. So maybe we, run some internet ads for $3. I don't know. So this is a very good budget, balanced. Once again, don't touch any of these cells. Only these ones are you editing. But this is your budget. You've planned how much money we're going to bring in, and we've planned how much is going to go out. So now we can click over to this very helpful transactions page. This is an awesome page. This page helps you track what you've actually brought in and spent out and sent out. And so the date, you can leave the date, or you can change it to 2020, or you can even change it to today's date. Let's say our utilities came due on the 8th of December. We got a bill, and the description is power bill. So power bill, and then we click here, and notice what it put here. Spreadsheets put my expense categories, what I typed here, Spreadsheets automatically added to here. So now I could just click utility. And now our power bill was not $1,000. You were using a lot of power if it was $1,000. Power bills run about $100. So $100, we spent $100 on December 8th for our power bill, and it was a utility. Now if I click over here, notice what it did. It marks the $100 right there and says, I've actually, now I plan to spend $200, and on the 8th I already spent $100 of it. And I have $100 left to go, because $100 plus $100 is $200. See that? See how that works? So now let's do another transaction. Let's say the water bill came due. My water bill came due. Water bills are only about $30. Water's cheap so far. It gets more expensive every year though. Let's say that came due on the 15th. So I paid my water bill on the 15th. It's also a utility. And now when I click back over here, I paid $130 and I have $70 left to spend. Helpful tool. Let's go over to income. Let's say that I made a sale. right? Let's say I made a sale of my Nikes. I had a pair of Nikes and I sold my Nikes. Somebody wanted my used Nikes and it was a sale, so I'm going to mark sales here. Notice these right here, investor sales ads, are exactly what I put over here. Pretty cool, huh? Sales, and let's say I sold them for 30 bucks, right? On the, we're going to say maybe the 22nd of December. And so yeah, and then over here, we're going to say I bought them for $20. And I bought them for $20 on the 3rd of December. So I made 10 bucks off of them. Go me. I'm a good businessman. So right now that would be inventory, right? And I'm going to say buy of Nike. I bought some Nike shoes for 20 on the 3rd, sold them on the 22nd. Now if I go over here, income $30 has come in, and over here $20 somewhere has gone out right there. So remember, don't change these cells. The formulas are what's making this happen. So don't change those or you'll be broken and have to start back over with a new monthly budget. So let's say that grandma went ahead and cut me a check. I'm going to say this is grandma's check. And so she's our investor, but she had a hard month. She couldn't afford as much as she usually affords. And she could only cut me a check for 50 bucks. So poor grandma. Really, if you think about it, I should be giving her money because she's such an awesome grandma. But anyway, so grandma gave me 50, so now I can click over here. And it says I wanted 150, but grandma only came through with 50, which means I'm negative 100, which means that $100 of what I intended to bring in, I'm going to have to find somewhere else. I'm going to have to generate more ad revenue, sell more shoes, find another investor, something like that. So very fun tool this is, isn't it? Very fun way. Once again, I'm going to say again, only edit highlighted sales. They should actually put that in all caps, shouldn't they? And then these graphs are helpful too. This tells me I started with 20. Right now, I'm at negative 50. So right now, my bank's calling me and saying, hey, dude, you don't have any more money in your checking account. You're in trouble. You're going to go out of business, and I'm in a lot of trouble. So I better sell some more shoes or ask grandpa for money this time, although that guy's a tightwad. Notice that my decrease in savings is negative 350%, but when you only have 20, it's not hard to get to negative 60, right, or negative 70. And negative 70 is the actual value right there. So the helpful tools, planned expenses at the end of the month, your hope is that this dark blue line equals this gray line, and this dark blue line equals this gray line. Let me make one more change just to show you how that works. So back over here, let's say I had to pay my Wi-Fi bill for the $35 that I intended to spend. As I said, that's a fixed expense, right? I'm just going to say bill there. Let's say I made a huge sale. I'm going to say this is the sale of all the shoes, and I made, let's say I made 300 off of them. So somebody bought up all my inventory, go them, and now, and that happened on the 22nd. They wanted to give it to kids in Africa who needed shoes, kids overseas who needed shoes. So if you live in Africa and you wear nicer shoes than I do, so maybe we should be buying shoes for kids in America. Notice these got bigger. See how except I didn't put that there. So there we go. Yeah. So, yep, notice how that got bigger and that got bigger. So these are just graphs so you can see at a glance what you've spent. Fun tool. Have fun. If you're in a group, have fun with this. If you're not in a group, have fun with this. This is just a great tool for you. Nobody's going to see it. It's just for you to track what you've done. Now I've saved $195 and I'm plus 1,000%, which once again, when you're starting with 20, not hard to get to plus 1,000%. So I've made 195 bucks this month. I'd pay attention to that one. So have a good one. Have fun with this assignment. I look forward to seeing it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for being awesome.